Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back once again to the Hot Stocks Outlook for October 6th, 2017. Thank you all for joining me again this week. We've got a lot of really great opportunities to take a look at today. We're going to start here in genuine parts. We've got Jacobs Engineering. We talked a lot about over the past several weeks how really automotive and engineering and Goodyear Tire, a lot of these stocks doing really well. So we'll look at a couple other things and also revisit Ford, which we covered a couple of weeks ago. But of course, let's go ahead and start and really understand how we utilize this tool here and really anticipate these really nice trend reversals in the market here. Now, what we have here in genuine parts is all the daily bars and candles. So we have daily candlesticks here representing the price data, and you can see we're going all the way back to the end of August. But what we're able to do is compare these two values that you see against that price data. Now, normally, traders are using essentially just simple moving averages. So, very simple mathematics of just averaging prices over time and plotting that line. Well, what we're doing here is different in that what we have here is a comparison between two values, this blue and the black line. The black line there, that is a simple moving average. So that's just a regular, what you call a lagging indicator, because it just summarizes what's already occurred in the market. But what we have with that blue line is a predicted moving average generated via the artificial intelligence and neural networks found within VantagePoint. Now, this is very important because what we're looking at is really a comparison between a prediction, a forecast, and what's actually occurred, a summary. So whenever traders are using VantagePoint, we've got really great scanning features here to find these fresh trend reversals and crossovers between these two values. But that indicates that there's been a trend change in the market. That's extremely important because you really want to get in right at the beginning of trend changes and shifts in the market. Now, in addition to that predicted moving average, you see at the bottom of the chart here, we have this other indicator, again, derived via the artificial intelligence and neural networks found in the software, which is a predicted neural index. And what it's doing is forecasting strength or weakness, but just over a very short period of time, just a 2-day or 48-hour window. So what we really understand here is when to expect short-term strength or short-term weakness, but inside of the trend direction and really getting that trend direction correct. So what we have here is this crossovers to the upside. That blue line remains above the black line. And then you can come in with actually a predicted range that VantagePoint generates every single day. So you really see how this is really an entirety of a forecast where you've got trend direction, short-term strength or weakness indicators at a very high accuracy, and also predicted highs and lows, which work at an extremely high accuracy. So you really have all the work as far as your analysis done for you. So if I actually bring up those predicted levels and keep in mind, you really know you'd be at this point on looking to be a buyer. Well, we bring up those predicted levels and you see, well, what would occur? You only want to be buying, be trying to buy at these predicted lows, and you'd stay in that market as long as that blue line, that predicted moving average, remains above the black line. It's telling you that the trend is remaining up and you should look to keep taking long positions. So, it doesn't really matter a whole lot what your strategy is because you see over the course of this trend, you've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 entries so far, which have all been great intraday entries inside of an uptrend where this market we see over the course of just the past couple months here is up over 15%. So, this is what it's all about, is identifying opportunities, getting into them, but then also managing that opportunity along the way. And that's where all these tools really come in and help you to a great degree, really adapt and evolve with those changing market conditions, because we know that the volatility up here and what predicted levels you may want to get in at is an entirely different trade than when it was way back here. And so you want that constant information updating you and making sure you're staying on the right side of the markets. So let's go ahead and move forward with that same understanding, understanding what we've covered there, and look at a few more stocks. Now, here's Jacobs Engineering, and we see here we've gotten this crossover, very nice, clean, a lot of separation between that predicted value and the actual value. And you also see that neural index coming in and really confirming that you should get that short-term strength as well over the next 48 hours. Well, if we get into the market, obviously this market is in an uptrend. It's a really nice opportunity to get long here. And we see the market's up about, maybe about 12% just over the past 27 trading days. But again, let me bring up those predicted highs and lows. And, this is why this is so critical is sometimes the markets are going to break out and we see, we get real close to this predicted low, don't quite hit it. But really, patience is key here where, if you've got a game plan, you've got really rules set up of how you're going to utilize these tools, you're really aware and able to adapt and make money on markets that are in uptrends. And you can really clearly identify what prices you want to accept, if you want to keep trading that market with in line with that overall trend. But I mean, you just see here in Jacobs Engineering, even if you're getting in late after the crossover, because of the tools really keeping you updated, this market's up 8% with about 6 more short-term entries that would have been great short-term day trades, or you're in there for maybe 48 hours or so, 2 or 3 days, and then you cash out and make a little bit of money on that move within that uptrend that we see very clearly here in Jacobs Engineering, and in line with Spartan Motors and these automotive stocks that we've been looking at over the past several weeks. So really nice stuff there. Let's go here, take a look here at PCAR. Very exact same thing. We really don't have to overcomplicate our strategies when we have tools that are constantly updating and able to adapt to those changing market conditions each and every day. And you see here that this is very clear. Crossover to the upside, neural index up at a 1, confirming that move. And that says, okay, well, go in with your VantagePoint predicted levels. Each and every day you're getting this update that says, yeah, buy down at these levels. I think, let's actually take a look at this here. On the very next day after the crossover, the predicted low is 64.13 and the actual low is 64.13. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that, where you're buying at really great intraday levels inside of the uptrend. So, even when you're buying into this market, you see we get a little bit of a pullback here. The trend is very clearly still to the upside. So you can anticipate that weakness over the next couple days, but understand that the trend is still in place. Make sure that you stick with your strategy. Again, just develop tools that match your strategy with these indicators, whether it's you're a trend trader and trading the swings, whether you're shorter term, you lean on the neural index and those predicted highs and lows. But it's really about really combining all of this and really looking at the entirety of the forecast to help you make better trading decisions day in and day out as you're managing these opportunities. Let's take a look at HCP. So, a lot of stocks going up, just getting a lot of crossovers every single evening, when you're running these scans every single night, and there's not too many opportunities to the short side. And that makes sense with the S&P hitting fresh new highs, a lot of stocks supporting that. But you really need to understand when stocks are getting ready to set up for some weakness. And you see here in HCP, it doesn't get any clearer than this. I mean, here's a market that's doing very, very well. And look at this forecast for HCP, where the crossover is clearly the downside over the past a month here. The neural index has never even popped up to a 1, so constantly forecasting short-term weakness. And so what does that mean? Well, if you want to hedge your positions, those long positions we've been taking over the past several months, well, you can come in with those predicted highs and lows and set some good short positions and sort of hedge that overall portfolio. But, when you have accurate tools, whether it's to the upside or the downside, you don't even think of it that much as a hedge. It's just a new trade, where you're making money on the downside. So you see coming into these markets, again, shorting at these very opportune intraday levels that work out really well. Within trends, sure, you're going to get these days where, the volatility accelerates and you start gapping one way or another. But that's the whole point is, before that happens, you need to be taking positions in the market. If you're a short-term trader, you can take little pieces of your position out, take some profits and put them in your pocket, but then hold on to the trend if the trend is expected to continue. And we see here just a really nice move lower here over just really the past few weeks, really the past month, market down about 9%, $277 per share on just a $29 stock. So, even just, a couple thousand shares, you're making a significant amount of money on these moves where, you see you're getting such good entries. You can lock your stops at break even and just ride the trend as long as that trend is forecasted to continue. Last but not least here, wanted to revisit Ford Motor Company here. So we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I definitely encourage traders out there to watch the playlists that are available, because you can go back and see this over the past year and a half almost it's been of every week finding new opportunities, how you manage those opportunities. And here in Ford, we covered this a couple of weeks ago because we identified, okay, well, there's been a crossover to the upside. Neural index up at a 1, a lot of strength. So we very simply understood, just like with all these other examples, that you want to go in and buy at predicted levels. Now, this worked perfectly, kind of like this PACCAR stock here, where you came down to that predicted low, nailed it very early. You see, a couple days later, you're hitting these really opportune levels with a little bit of patience, just trailing up those limit orders with these indications that you get. But just over the past couple of weeks, you see, what would your trade have been in Ford? Well, you would have tried to buy at this predicted low level. You're in an uptrend. Your neural index is positive. And you see just over the past week here now in Ford, market moving much higher. And, that's your trade. Market up another 3.5%, almost 4% just in the past 6 trading days over the course of the entirety of the move. So if you get in as those trend predictions, as those trend forecasts and reversals come through, market is up 14%. So a 14% move higher over 27 trading days, where you've been able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 excellent entries into a market that's moving up 15% over 27 trading days. That's how you do well in the markets, and that's how you succeed. So really excited to share this with you guys. Certainly, go ahead if you have any questions, leave them in the comments box below. And just remember, guys, it's really about having the right tools, getting that process in place, and as I like to say, really cranking that machine day in and day out and doing well in the market. So once again, thank you guys for watching. This has been the Hot Stocks Outlook for October 6th. 2017. Best of luck to you traders out there in the market. Thanks again, and bye for now.